In this video, I'm going to use Cisco Packet Tracer to show you how to set up a local area network using a Cisco router connected to a switch with computers connected to that switch. I'm going to show you how to use that router to set up a DHCP server where the IP addresses are downloaded to each one of the computers, where you don't have to go into each computer and put the IP address, the subnet mask, the gateway, the DNS server, all of that information. You don't have to put that in manually. That would all be downloaded for you as soon as you plug that computer in. This is very helpful, especially in an office where you have a lot of computers. This could save a lot of time. So let's get to it. I'll show you exactly how that is done right now. So in this area here, I'm going to pick a router, a 4331 router I'm going to pick, and I'm going to pick a switch, the 2960 switch. Now I'm going to pick a whole bunch of computers. Let's see here. Pick 3. Probably pick about 6 of them. I'll just copy those and paste them. Edit, copy, and paste. Just save ourselves some time here. Okay. So we got 6 computers here. So we have our switch. Let's just move things around a bit to the middle so that you can see everything clearly. Now I'm going to connect these computers now to the switch. Okay, with a straight through cable, Ethernet 0 to the switch, fast Ethernet 0/1. Do the same thing here, Ethernet 0/2. From there, fast Ethernet 0 to fast Ethernet 0/3. Fast Ethernet 0 to fast Ethernet 0/4. Fast Ethernet 0 to fast Ethernet 0/5. Fast Ethernet 0 to fast Ethernet 0/6. I'm going to connect from the router. Fast Gigabit Ethernet 0/0/0. Connect that to the switch. Fast Ethernet 0/7. So everything is connected now. I'm going to label the gateway with an IP address, 192.168.2.1. I'm going to select. Okay, and let's move it a bit closer. Okay, so next, I'm just going to get into the router now, because I don't know at this point what the IP addresses for these computers are going to be. Because remember, I'm going to be using DHCP, where this router here is going to be acting as a server, and it's going to assign the IP addresses automatically to each one of these computers. So once I know, I would label them, but until then, we can't do that. So let's start with the router here and set it up first, okay? So I'll get into the router, I'll go to Silly, and you just enter and go no. Enter again, and you would go into the enable mode at this point. Enable. Then you have to go into the config mode to configure the router. Config space T. Let me just move this out of the way a bit so you can see everything here. So now we want to go on to the gateway, because we want to set up a DHCP server for this local area network. So this is the point that we want to get onto, which is gigabit 0/0/0. So we'll go int space gig 0/0/0. Enter. Okay, so we're on that interface now. So we have to put the IP address in for that interface. IP address space 192.168.2.1, and you have to put the subnet mask in. That's 0. Okay, and enter. And now there's still no communication between this interface and this switch as yet, not until I type no shut on the interface. So I'll go no space shut, and that should change. You notice that is changed to green, and this one is orange, and that will be changed to green shortly as well. So now that is done, my next step is to go exit to get off that interface, right? To go back to the global mode. So my next step, I'm going to be setting up the DHCP server where I can assign IP addresses to each one of these computers. So the way that is done, I'm going to go IP space DHCP space pool space. You just give this DHCP server here a name. I'm going to call this one net A, N-E-T-A. Okay, you can call it anything. You can call it blue. You can call it just about anything you want. I just choose net A. All right, and enter. And the next step would be to type in the network IP address on the subnet mask. You know, this is the 2.1 interface, so the network IP would have to be 2.0, right? The very first IP in the range would be 2.0. So I'm gonna go network space 192.168.2.1 space 255.255.255.0. I'm sorry, let me go back here. I said 2.0, but I typed 2.1. Let me just change that. 2.0. All right. And so that's the network IP. Okay. And enter. Next, we're going to type the default router now. The default router is a gateway. This IP address, the default router, simply means the default gateway. So I'll go default dash router. You're basically telling the computer that this is where you want to work with. You want to work with this interface, and you want to assign IP addresses to devices on this interface. Default, and that would be 192.168.2.1. Okay, and enter. And now, the only other thing you want to type here is you could put in the DNS server. I don't have the DNS server here as yet, but if I know the IP address for the DNS server, I could put that in right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick an IP address. I'm going to, let's say I pick 2.9 for instance, right? So I'm going to go DNS dash server space 192.168.2.9. okay, so that's done. The DNS server information is in there. But what I want to do at this point is that I want to tell the router not to assign 2.9 dynamically. Because remember, I'm assigning all the other IP addresses dynamically, but this 2.9 is assigned statically to the DNS server. So the router could go ahead and assign 2.9 to one of the PCs, and I would have a conflict because I would have this IP address assigned twice. So I want to tell it not to do that, not to assign 2.9. Okay, so the way that is done is that you'll go IP space DHCP space excluded dash address space 192.168.2.9. So basically I'm telling it to exclude assigning this IP address dynamically to any of the computers on the network. Okay, let's go enter. So that is done. So now I'll go to each one of these computers and see what the IP address has been assigned. So to do that, I go to click on desktop, click on IP configuration. Right now I have the static radial button selected. I want to select the DHCP button. And you'll see, okay, this area is being populated with the IP address, the subnet mask, the gateway, and the DNS. I see the DNS is 2.9, just as I assigned it earlier. The gateway is 2.1. The subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. And the very first IP is 2.2. So that works. Remember 2.1 was the gateway, so it picked 2.2 for the first PC. So I'm gonna, let's take a look at the second one here now, and go to desktop, click on DHCP, see what happens. 2.3 is being selected. The rest of the information here is the same, so that is fine. It's 2.3 is being assigned there. And this one here, desktop, IP configuration, select DHCP, 2.4, everything else is the same, so that's fine. So go here and desktop, DHCP, 2.5, everything else is the same, perfect. And this is desktop, DHCP, 2.6, okay, that's fine. And desktop DHCP 2.7. Okay, so it's all assigned. Everything looks good here as well. So we have from 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6, and 2.7. Now what I always like to do is just name it so you know what it is, right? 192.168.2.2. Okay, and here again 192, 2.5, and 2.6 and 2.7. So it looks good now. So now I can go on to any one of these PCs here and ping the gateway. Let's do that. 2.2, select the command prompt, and I'm going to type ping, P-I-N-G, space 192.168.2.1, which is the gateway, and enter. See the replies are coming back. We sent 4 packets, received 4 packets back, no losses. So that was successful, 100% sent and received. Okay, so that's perfect. So I can also ping from any one of these computers to other computers on the local area network. I will hit the up arrow to get that same command back, and I'll just change the last digit, let's say to .5, and hit enter. Getting the replies back, and everything has been good. Sent 4 packets, received 4 back, so I was able to ping .5. So I should be able to ping from any one of these computers to the network, and also these computers can ping each other because they're all connected to the switch. Okay, so that is basically how you will set up a DHCP server to assign IP addresses automatically to devices on your local area network. In the next video, what I want to do is show you how to set up dynamic routing. I'm going to set up a second local area network, and just very much like this one, like if you have 2 different offices and you have one network in one office, another network in another office, you will have it set up just like this, another router and another switch and all the PCs that's connected. You may have a DNS server and a web server as well in that office. I'm going to show you how that is done. And I'm going to also show you how dynamic routing is done so that you can route between offices. Without setting up some sort of routing protocol, you would not be able to get through from this local area network to the other local area network. They would both be isolated from each other. Even though you may have them connected physically, it wouldn't work. So I'm going to show you how to set up dynamic routing so that you can do that as well. I'm going to put a link to that video in the description below, just in case you have any problems finding it. So if this video has been helpful to you and you would like to see more videos like this one, please don't forget to click on the subscribe and notification button below so that you'll be notified as soon as our new videos are released. My name is Trevor from Telecom Training. Thank you for watching.